espetáculo, assim, o Sebastião Salgado mostrando as fotos mais lindas, completamente emocionante, uma discussão maravilhosa.
And I put myself the question if there is not a correlation between the numbers of television that you produce in some factories, the number of cars that you produce, the number of profits that the banks does, with the number of people that dies in this moment.
He traveled for 6 years, visiting 43 countries. Everywhere he went, he found people on the move, looking for somewhere to earn their living and feed their children. Took pictures of the face of globalization.
What we are calling now globalization was made by the institutions that was the big agents of this, from the International Monetary Fund.
At one level, it talks of trade, which since the 16th century has exchanged goods, and now increasingly ideas and information across the globe. But also, globalization is a view of the world. 1 in 5 of all the people on the globe benefit from this system. 4 in 5 suffer in different degrees from the new, unnecessary poverty. It pretends that no alternative is possible, and it's simply not true. And it is said in the face of the whole of human history. From capitalism to life, from the economics of poetry to the poetry of economics.
It's not fixed in Liberia, it's not fixed in Brazil, it's fixed in London, it's fixed in New York by trading companies that fix this price. And they don't take in consideration the needs of the life of this population. And what happens? The cake is each time is smaller, for a population this time bigger. The problem is an economic problem in the starting of all this story. After this, I put myself the question that what is evolution? Evolution can be any kind of thing, can be in any direction of the inclination. We can evolve negatively, going to the depth, going to the final point, going to the most brutal end, and we adapt to it also.
To live with this world is first of all to take it in. The opposite of living with this world is actually indifference, or of turning away. If you add up all the instants in this book,
that is 1 second of pictures, probably 1 second and 10, no more than this, because if you get an average of 350 a second, the speed that I shoot one picture, probably here we have about altogether 1 second of pictures. This man, he was a teacher, and he was completely in despair, and nobody was really there to understand him, and only their community was there to understand what they lost.
There are only 2 services which images can offer the afflicted. One is to find the story which expresses the truth of their affliction, the words which can give resonance through the crust of external circumstances to the cry which is always inaudible. Why am I being hurt?
But they were wrong. Nobody was waiting then. We made a big war. We spent billions of dollars in their name. We made nothing for them.
And in many of your pictures, the sky is very important. People who have lost all sense of tragedy simply look at these skies and say, ah, what a beautiful set, what a beautiful decor this is, what a well-chosen moment.
A photographer that goes and spend a long time with the people, that live with the people, that spend nights, because nights we don't photograph, but sit around and speaking and keep telling what really happened to them. Sometimes I put myself the question, if for me was not more important meeting people, new people, the people allowed you to come inside their life, the way that you receive these pictures, that sometimes people call you to give the pictures. That means you must show those pictures. In the center of Mozambique, in a camp, big camp of displaced population, where most of them were children, because in Mozambique we had about 350,000 children that was loose from their families. And they were innocent, they were pure, but from their eyes was possible to see what they lived, what was their life.
This is me.
I exist.
I exist. What are you? You out there in the world? Or is there anything else out there?
To ask you my own question, which is how the idea for this documentary came about, and how your collaboration with John Berger came about. Maybe you could say a little bit about that?
Hello people. You know, this film is poor, but it's not that poor as the African countries. I did the shows in Modern Art Museum in Rio de Janeiro. Same with the toilet paper to put in the toilets. When we have the show, it was necessary to us to buy to put there, because we had the building, but we had nothing to be inside. It's not that we don't have rich people. We have rich people. And for example, the big owners of the big banks in Brazil, we have quite big banks, made billions of dollars per year. They are bigger donors, but not for our museum. They are big donors for the Metropolitan Art Museum in New York, for the Modern Art Museum in New York, to be equals with the rich bankers in this country, to be accepted by the community of bankers in this country. And you see, there is so many things that must be discussed. We are living in a nature that is being degraded for so many years. We'll be arriving a moment that the planet will push us out of it. Absolutely, we push us out. I was other day walking the Chaco Valley here in New Mexico with an UP Indian, and he told me, was real philosopher guy. He said, Sebastian, if we don't take care of the land push us out of it. And the land is pushing us out of it. We must probably imagine something, work together, see what we can do together. The resources, they exist. They exist. I spoke yesterday evening, probably a few people that are here were yesterday evening there. We are working on a sustainable development project in a region in Brazil to plant about 30 million trees to 50 million trees in the next 40 years, 30, 40 years, to create a full equilibrated system, economic, social, in a full region with a lot of people inside, to rebuild all system of water. We need about $50 million. Looks a lot of money. But I tell you yesterday evening, the price of a bomber fighter, a plane bomber fighter, is $200 million. That means it's 1/4 of a plane. And how many hundreds of planes are we built in this moment in this country? You know? And that's the point. The money exists. We have enough money to rebuild this planet. The problem in us, how together we take the decision to allocate this money in a proper way. To whom we be voting? No? How will be the people that will be elected that will represent us? No? How we can create committees in our region, in our place, quarter that we live, how we can elect our minds, the representatives that will represent us, what we want. But first we must know what we want. No? First we must sit together and discuss. I tell you one thing that for me was very interesting. and quite good friend of the new president of Brazil, that's Lula. That's a guy that really came from the worker class. One president, probably only in the world, in the planet, that has not one finger, because he's losing a machine when it was made cars. No, a machine won't eat his finger. Really was a proletarian guy that came from the base, and that work of his life, arrived in the power that most democratic way, much more democratic than your president was elected here. And the point is, for me, is this: when this guy was elected, no, we are at the same moment that we are going for incredible wars, that something terrible. And the hope of the planet in this moment, the utopia of the planet in this moment, was not based on the reality, crude reality that we are having from the foreign politics of this country. The most powerful country, no levels on this planet, was coming this moment for a very poor country, with a very proletarian president, you know. And when I remember that I came from social forum in Porto Alegre, when you see all the hopes that were there, and warning from, you see, that is our topic. No, to see what we have to offer. Money we don't have, technology we don't have. And industry in Brazil is capable to produce technology. We are the independence of full technology created here. And but there is a small thing that we don't understand. What? Of course, that is the dream. We are have a dream. And what is the history of humanity? Is the dream that we create as humans, and one day we materialize this dream, and one dream that born inside the other dream. That is our history. No? Probably the true is another true. Probably the true for humanity is inside a dump. People work in the garbage, but getting so real things, so essential things in human relations. Probably that will be the proposition. No? I believe that dreams are the most important thing and the pure thing that everyone on this planet has the right to have and fight for you.
In reality, there is a lot of hope inside this person that we meet, and they wanted to change. They broke an equilibrium. They are in a very bad situation, momentary. But inside them, they are looking for another issue, looking for another way of life, and it's gives a lot of hope. So there is a lot of energy. I met poor people, but I never met depressed depression.
But the death.
Death is part of life. So we didn't understand this yet, but it's part.
Tá tirando a foto, tá lá com aquelas pessoas, vê a foto pronta ou trazer para uns países.
É tudo. Isso é um sistema. Entende? Onde é um conjunto de coisas. Desde a hora que você concebe, quando você vive com as pessoas, que você tem a fotografia, é uma forma de vida.